Promoted at 23 with no degree. In clip 2 of my career journey, I shared how I was able to overcome my first layoff. At the end of the clip, I shared how I applied for multiple jobs and I wasn't getting any hits, so I began to apply for jobs that I did not have a strong interest in. There was one particular employer who gave me a chance, even though I did not have industry experience, and they were willing to train me, so I took advantage of that opportunity. Before I go into clip 3, I do want to acknowledge that I will not share the name of the employer, of course. I will not share the industry, and I will not share the type of role. And the reason being is because sensitive information will be shared in this clip. As I mentioned, I did not have any industry experience. I started out in training. In training, I was an active listener. I asked a lot of questions. I took a lot of notes. I really wanted to do well in the job. I was optimistic about this opportunity for 2 reasons. One, I had the opportunity to earn a monthly bonus, and I was happy about that because the pay for this position was much lower than the role that I had previously that I was laid off from. The second reason is because if I hit my monthly bonus for 6 consecutive months, I had the opportunity to reach top tier status, meaning that I would get my own office, I would get a $5 raise, I would continue to receive my monthly bonuses. So that was a goal that I had while I was sitting in training, was to reach top tier status. A year later, I reached my goal, and I was really happy about that. I was about 22, 23 years old. I was making $15,000 to $20,000 more than I was in the job that I was previously laid off from. I was making a monthly bonus, exceeding the goals each month. I had my own office. I was able to make my own schedule, and really I was my own boss. So that opportunity from going from not having any industry experience to now being a top tier status at this company, and there was only 10 people at the time who reached this status. So I was really ecstatic about making it to that point with the company, and then also I was really happy about my status as far as my career at that point. A year later, after reaching top tier status, a posting went up for a management level position. I decided to apply, and when I applied, I competed against people who were with the company for 5 years, 10 years. One person was with the company for 15 years. I ended up making it to the interview process, and then I also made it to the final stage, where it was between myself and the employee who was with the company for 15 years. The end result was I was the selected candidate, and when I was selected, I was surprised. I really was, because I had the least amount of experience, and then also I was with the company for the shortest amount of time out of the other candidates. So I started to question it. Why was I the person that was selected for this role? I really wanted to know, because I really thought that it was going to go to the other person. So I went to HR and I asked them, why did you select me? And the response that I received was, because you are by the book and you follow the policies and procedures, and we need someone in a position like that. So once they stated that, it made sense to me, because it was true. Shortly after, someone came to me and they stated, you were hired into that position because of affirmative action. They then went on to explain to me that a week prior to the posting going up, they complained to HR about the lack of diversity of women and also the lack of diversity of African Americans in the management roles. So once this person mentioned this to me, of course, I did not dismiss it. It was something that I kept in the back of my mind. They also mentioned that the topic of EEOC came up during a conversation with HR. And for anyone who does not know what EEOC stands for, it's the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, and it's a branch of the Department of Labor where employees can go to complain about discrimination. So once this person mentioned this to me, it was a thought that I kept in the back of my mind, and I did still decide to take advantage of the promotion opportunity. In my new position, I inherited a team. The manager who was in the role prior to me was transferred to another department, so I overtook his team. The good thing was the people who were on the team, a majority of them were either high performers or mid-level performers. So that worked in my favor. The challenge was most of these people were considered money makers for the company. So they were used to doing things how they wanted to do them. They didn't follow a lot of the policies. They didn't follow a lot of procedures. My thought process was I want to run my team as being fair and consistent. So my goal of having everyone on the team follow the same policies and procedures is what I put in place. When I say they were used to doing things how they wanted to do them, a few examples were if they wanted to take 10 smoke breaks a day, they could. If they were able to take an extended break and no one said anything, they could. And when I say extended, I mean like 30, maybe 40 minutes over. If they came in late every single day, they weren't really reprimanded for being tardy. So I did not approve of that, and I didn't want to make that a habit of everyone on the team. So I started to either speak up, take action against individuals who violated the policies. Of course, people were not happy of my new way of doing things. They were so used to having a more relaxed manager who, as long as they brought in money, they could pretty much do what they wanted. And I was the complete opposite. It was challenging to get everyone to follow my lead, but after a while, they respected me for it. They couldn't really complain about the way I was doing things, because if they complained, they would be basically telling on themselves on not following the policies. So it was a challenge to get everyone on the same board, but once I did, things started to run smoothly. Another thing that I was big on as a manager was coaching and development. It didn't matter if I was sitting with people who were low performers or new hires, or if you were a top performer. I always gave feedback, sharing people's progress, letting them know what they could do better. And I also shared how great of a success that they were to the team. So I shared feedback at all times. Another big thing that I did was I was big on morale building. I wanted to make sure that when people came to work, that they enjoyed the time there. So each month we had monthly contests, we had monthly activities, and I would give someone on the team the responsibility of taking advantage of what activities we were going to do that month. And then pretty much anyone who wanted to participate, which is usually the entire team, we would have different activities, contests, and I would do giveaways. So those were a lot of the things that I did when I was managing that team. And it really worked in my favor because people enjoyed coming to work, people were meeting their goals, and people were pretty much following the policies, which made it easier for myself to be able to manage the team. So I really enjoyed working with that team, and I had about 20 people that I was overseeing. A few helpful tips for anyone who is seeking a promotion. Tip number 1, believe that you have what it takes. Many times people do not apply for promotions or move forward in their careers is because they lack confidence. So don't doubt yourself, but believe in yourself. Tip number 2, have a goal before the promotion. I mentioned earlier in the clip that I wanted to become top tier status, so that was my goal. Tip number 3, performance alone will not get you a promotion. You want to have good character as well. So performance plus character equals a change in status. Tip number 4, obstacles will come and you will need to face them head on. There's no way of getting around it. You need to go through it. So once you're managing a team, just keep in mind that obstacles will come. It's up to you to come up with a strategy and a game plan on how to overcome those obstacles. Tip number 4, respect is earned. Managing adults, you have to treat them like adults. You can't treat them like children. Micromanaging is not a good strategy as far as being a new manager. So being respectful to others will also have respect earned back to you. And the most important to me is being fair and consistent. Being fair and consistent across the board is what a good manager does, because if you have challenges within your team, it's most likely people are not feeling like they are being treated fairly. So being fair and consistent across the board is a tip that I really want people to pick up on.